So I didn't evacuate during Hurricane Milton, and people think I'm absolutely insane because of it. I keep getting called crazy and dumb and all these different things. So about a couple days before the hurricane actually hit, we all got notifications on our phone, and we were told that we were in an evacuation zone. I was in evacuation zone B, and this is the time and the place where people start panicking. They run to Walmart and they buy out everything possible. They act like the world's going to end. Now, from the beginning, I always had a weird feeling about the evacuation. I always had a really bad feeling, like this kind of disgust, this upset stomach kind of feeling. And this might be because the amount of crazy and dumb people that are out on the roads at that exact time. But what people need to understand, evacuations aren't as simple as just getting in your car and going away. Especially when people are rushing the gas stations and panic buying all the fuel possible. I've seen people out there with massive jugs, tons of the gas cans, just filling them up over and over and over again. Understand, Americans are not considerate. They don't care. They will go into Walmart and buy every single case of water, knowing not everybody's going to have enough. They will buy every drop of gas out of the gas pump, knowing that other people are going to sacrifice because of it. So whenever you do evacuate, you got to consider these things. You got to understand, like, you have to have fuel in the car to be able to get somewhere. You have to be able to get some food. You got to be able to get some water. And those kind of things are just not easy to come by when everybody's having a meltdown, taking as much as possible. And then you have to have the money and resources to go somewhere else. A lot of the things I keep hearing people say is like, why don't you go to your friend's house or your grandma's house or go to one of the shelters? The shelters get full and not everybody has friends and family that they can go stay with. But that's a different conversation. These youths in the comments section always think they know everything. But the reason for staying was a lot more of an internal thing. I had a bad feeling about evacuating. Now, what's wild about this hurricane in specific, not only did it set a bunch of records and it was a historical hurricane, but 130 tornadoes spawned out of it. Like, people need to keep in mind and understand like how many that is. One tornado, people panic and go into hiding and go into basements and shelters to try to avoid the path of the tornado. So most people panic with just one. There was 130 tornado warnings issued all at the exact same time. A tornado warning is issued whenever a tornado starts forming in the sky. So it was about 30 that actually touched down, but there was 100 more that didn't touch down that started forming. So about 1 to 2 hours before the hurricane actually hit, I got a text from the homeowner saying, hey, there is still time to evacuate. You can still go right now. But if I would have evacuated in that moment, I would have been caught in the traffic on I-75 exactly when a tornado ripped through there. And not evacuating, I avoided about 30 tornadoes. So I want everybody to understand, these meteorologists and weathermen, they don't know what they're talking about. How many times has your local weather channel been wrong? How many times have you opened the weather app on your phone and it be incorrect? It says it's going to be rainy and it's sunny out right now. They told everybody to evacuate and sent people straight into a tornado. The evacuation zones, the safe places, sent people into tornadoes. Sometimes in life, whenever you get those gut feelings, you get them for a reason. It's never just a random thing. You can chalk it up to your subconscious, but I really don't believe that. And about the worst thing that happened to me from not evacuating is power was out for a little bit and I lost some phone service for a while. But this overall was a hard decision to make because I have people who depend on me. I have Diamond with me. If something bad would happen from the hurricane, that was up to me. Everybody looked to me to make the decision. And so it was a tough decision to make. You weigh both sides, like, do I evacuate and sacrifice a bit of money and sacrifice chancing car accidents and all these crazy people on the streets, or do I stay at home and run the risk of a hurricane hitting and destroying everything that I'm in? You have to weigh these odds, and when you have this massive decision to make, the only thing you can do is trust God. You pray and you trust God and try to figure out an answer. And whenever you trust God, these chaotic moments start to feel fun. They start to feel a bit exciting. There was a moment during the hurricane when I went outside in it just to see it, just to feel the force. And I have to say that moment was amazing, and it made me learn a lot of things. It opened up my eyes to something very massive. Atheists have no clue. People act like they're going to be able to stand up to the power of God or do something during Judgment Day, or they're not worried about Judgment Day. Stand outside in a hurricane and tell me if you think the same way. Because something like a hurricane is minuscule in comparison to the power of Allah. We as humans have nothing to compare to God. God is not comparable. You can't compare him to anything. So something as powerful as that, not even be able to hold a comparison to, will start to open your eyes. Because in these moments, these natural disasters, you're powerless. You are up to the grace of God. If he wants to send a tornado at your house, it's going to happen. So being in that moment, standing out there in the hurricane and feeling so powerless next to this thing kind of helped put it into perspective perspective for me to understand how bigger God is than all of us. Now, don't get me wrong, this was a very traumatic event. A lot of people lost their homes, they lost their cars, they lost everything they owned, and some people even lost their life, others lost their loved ones. And there was a lot of disaster that happened. There was a lot of issues that came about this. And thankfully, due to the grace of God, I'm completely okay. This is my second hurricane in a couple weeks and everything's fine. But whenever you have these moments of disaster and chaos, you start to see the snakes really come out. Every politician is making this about them. They're trying to be the good guy and be the hero just to get more public validation. None of these politicians are going to get out in the ocean and pull debris out of the water. None of these politicians are going to go take a shovel inside your home to get the sand out of it. But all of them want to pretend like they're the ones doing that. They want to pretend and act like they're the ones saving the day. And yesterday we went down to the shoreline to go check out everything that happened, and I saw a lot of people cleaning up the mess. And I didn't see any politicians there. All I saw was people within the community helping one another. Now, I did learn a couple really big things during this event, but the biggest thing I learned was that there are individuals who genuinely get excited during calamity, during chaos. These people get happy. They're excited for something bad to happen so they can use this and try to seem like they're the ones solving all the problems. They want people to have problems so they can sell the solution. And these people aren't selling a solution to try to help others. They're selling a solution to try to take from others. Individuals who have just lost everything, they want to be there to take the last bit that they have. And these people, they are the shaitan. They are evil. They are demonic. And any word, however word you want to use for it, these people fit that category to a T. They are perfect for the shaitan. And once again, people think they have all the answers. They think they have all the solutions to this big issue. But what's really happening is people are getting together and helping one another. Meteorologists and the people who really love the science behind storms and love storms, they do their best to try to track the path, but they were wrong multiple times. They were off by miles, hundreds of miles. So at the end of the day, they don't really know what's going to happen with any of these storms. They don't really know, or else there would be no calamity. There would be no disaster afterwards. Nobody was going to be able to predict 130 forming tornadoes at the exact same time. God is the only one who knows all these things. We as humans, we don't. We have pretty decent technology and they do their best, but we can't predict the future no matter how hard we try. All we can do is look in the past and recognize patterns and try to apply them to our life today. But those patterns don't always repeat themselves. Now, I do believe history is bound to repeat itself, but to some extent, because we can't see the future. God knows. Allah is the best of planners. Now, I appreciate every single one of you guys listening and commenting all the time. So that book I've been working on, I've been taking everybody's comments, their stories, their personal experiences about how God saved their life, how Allah came into their life and benefited them and blessed them in some way. I've been taking all those comments and I've compiled them into an ebook right now. This is going to be an ever-going project throughout months or hopefully years in the future. I'm going to continue to take new comments and add it to the book and just update it on Gumroad as I go. That book is out right now. It is at dravenishere.gumroad.com. I'll put a link in the description for you as well. Now, this book is on donations only, so if you guys can't afford it, just please download it, just get it. I want more people to see this. There's plenty of comments and stories that I read while going through this and making this book that brought me to tears. There was some pretty serious moments, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I want people to understand. I want people to really see and perceive the blessings of Allah. So once again, it's at dravenishere.gumroad.com.